Hi everyone, I'm Paul with MadCap Software. In this video, I'm going to dive deeper into micro content. So hopefully you've already watched some of the other videos and you understand about micro content and how you create it and just a lot of the basic things about it, because we are going to get deeper into it and we're going to talk about single sourcing micro content. So what do I mean by that? Single sourcing micro content? Well, let me take you back to when we first released micro content a few years ago. It was really cool. Right out of the box, I was able to create all kinds of micro content and search results, and I loved it. But there was something that was kind of gnawing at me, and that was that I found that there were some pieces of micro content where I wanted all of the content in that micro content to show up in the full topic when you're looking at the full topic in the output. But when you do a search and it pulls that content up in micro content, I wanted less of it. I wanted to exclude some things, and I wanted maybe the font to be smaller and maybe list items to be closer together. I wanted to be, in essence, I wanted it to be more truncated. And there wasn't really any way to do it back then. I went up to one of the developers and I talked to him about it and said, I sure would like to be able to do this. Can you think of any way I could do it? And he thought for a little bit, and then he realized, there is this other style sheet that gets created when you generate micro content. Maybe we could sort of leverage that, not edit that style sheet because it gets generated automatically, but to somehow use that. And that's what we did. Was able to create what are called complex selectors or advanced selectors in my style sheet and be able to do this. Now, since then, we've added a few things in Flare that allows people to do this without having to do exactly what I did. Although I'm still using the method that I used back then because I find it's pretty powerful, and once you have it in place, it's easy. So we're gonna go into this, and we're gonna see exactly what all this means and how you can do it. First of all, let's take a look at the Flare help system, because I want to show you. I'm going to give you an example so you really have it in your head of what I'm talking about here. So this is a topic in the online help, creating conditions. And as you scroll down in this, you can see I've got this section on how to create a condition. So I've got some step-by-step procedure in here, and you can see it goes 1, 2, 3, and I've got a comment in here between steps, and then I've got an animated GIF in here under step 3. And then also under step 3, I've got some sub-steps in here, and then it finishes with step 4. That's the way it looks in the full topic. But if you were to search for create condition, up will pop the micro content. And it's the same content, it's just less of it. So I have the heading and I've got the steps, and I even added this little link up here that just shows up in micro content. And I still have the animated GIF or a copy of it, but it shows up over on the right. So it's the same exact thing. I did not create snippets, and I did not copy and paste or do anything like that. It's the exact same stuff. It's just it's showing one way in the topic, showing a different way in the micro content. So that's what I'm talking about. And I thought that, hey, a lot of people are probably going to want to do this if I wanted to do this. So that's why I'm taking you through this video. Now, I'm going to show you a few different things, a few different methods for doing single sourcing with micro content. And there's a whole lot of it. There's more than I'm going to cover in this video. And I just want to let you know that just in case you want to explore on your own, you can do. I have this, everything I talk about, it's documented, plus there's more. So if you just go in here in look for micro content, and you're going to get the piece of micro content about micro content in here. Like I said, there's a whole bunch to talk about, so the piece of micro content is somewhat big here. But if you go over all the way on the right, you see this single sourcing topics, single sourcing micro content using conditions, single sourcing micro content using styles, and single sourcing micro content using variables. Those are the three things I'm going to talk about. But in case things start spinning in your head, just know you can always go and take a look at that stuff. Okay, so first thing that we want to do is hop over into Flare and start just knocking these out one at a time, one method at a time. Okay, so here is a little Flare help system on dog training that I usually use for showing micro content. And here I have a topic open called Teaching Your Dog to Stay. And as you scroll down, you can see, okay, I've got a heading here. It's very similar to that topic I showed you in the Flare help. I've got some steps here, 1, 2, and I've got a note between steps 2 and 3, step 3, and then I've got an image in there, and I got step 4, and then I also have this just extra paragraph here at the bottom. And so I want to create micro content from this, but what I want to end up doing is I want to hide some stuff. I want to hide this note in the micro content. I want to hide the image in the micro content. And so we're first going to try to do this using conditions. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that you have conditions created for this kind of thing. If you look over on the left, I've got my default condition tag set, but I created another one just to show you this. And so I open this up, and I only have one condition in here that I created, and I called it topic only. You can call it anything you want. And I got this kind of green color associated with it. So the idea here is that if I start putting this condition on content, I want that content to show up only in the full topic, and I want it to be hidden when that same content is viewed as micro content in search results. So there's my condition. So I can go back in here to my topic, and I can just start applying this. So here I've got this note, and I want to apply it. So I'm gonna click on that P tag, and I'm gonna go here and go to conditions. There's conditions right here. I actually added a shortcut up here in my access bar, which you can do real easily by right-clicking whatever you want to put there and say, add to the quick access bar. So I'm going to access my conditions from here. And there it is, topic only. I select it, and it's applied. Now I'm going to do the same thing to my image down here. I'm just going to select that, and I'm going to go up here and do that. So the right conditions are applied to that content. So that's one step. Now, I also need to create the micro content. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I like to create div tags to wrap everything in there. So I'm just going to first of all begin to select everything that I want in this piece of micro content all the way down to here. And I'm going to click here and say div and OK. All right. So now I've got this div tag, and I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to say create micro content, and let's call this one teach dog stay. And click OK, and it's going to open this up in my micro content editor, and I've got the one that Flare provides. I'm going to get rid of that. So there it is. There's my piece of micro content, and over on the right you can see it's still got everything in it because I haven't told it yet what to do. Now here's where the inclusion exclusion thing takes place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click on that phrase, and I'm going to select properties. Now I can see these are my conditions. There's the default condition tag set, and there's the one that I created. And I'm actually on the condition text tab right now. So if I were to apply this, what it's going to do is it's going to apply the condition to the entire phrase thing. And you might want to use this if you wanted to just not include that phrase response in your output. And then you could, that condition topic only, you could say include or exclude on your target. That's not what we want to do here. We want to go a level deeper. We want to use this condition, but we want to use it within the content. So we're going to go down here to micro content conditions. And this is similar to what you see in a target where you do an include exclude kind of thing. So I just want to say with this one, micro content conditions, topic only, I want to exclude that. If content has that condition, I don't want it showing up in my micro content. I want it showing up in my topic. So I click OK, save, and we are good. So now let's build the output. And once this is done, we'll open up the output and we'll test it and see how it goes. Okay, so here is the little help system, and we can just test it. I will type in here, teach dog stay. And there is my micro content. And it's just those 4 steps. It's just the heading, those 4 steps, and the little thing at the end. Now, if I open up the full topic, you can see I've got everything. I've got my note, I've got my image. And so that's one really simple way to do it. Now, let's go back to the Flare project, and we're going to undo this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to undo the settings. I'm going to just say not set on that, and I'm going to go back into my topic, and I'm going to keep the micro content in place, but I'm going to get rid of the conditions in here. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that I can show you the next method, which is with styles. And if you feel comfortable with the conditions, and it is very easy, you could see how easy that was, then do it. I happen to like to use styles, maybe because I started out doing it that way. And it also seems to have a little bit more power in it because I'm able to not only say exclude stuff in the micro content, but in the micro content show stuff that doesn't show up in the topic to do the reverse. And you can do that with conditions, but you kind of have to involve snippets and snippet conditions, and it's a little bit more complicated. So with styles, it's just a little bit easier, I think. All right, now what I want to do is open up the style sheet and show you what I've done. So there is resources, style sheets, and I'm not going to open it up in the regular editor because it's harder to explain and it's harder to do this in some ways. So I'm just going to say right click, open with internal text editor. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this find widget in here. And I want to go, I'm going to just go search for micro content because I know that I have this. This is a comment, and that just helps me organize stuff in this view of the style sheet. So this is what I want you to see in here, this stuff that's under micro content, under that comment. It's this stuff right here. And I have a lot more in my real style sheet than this, but this gives you the basics. And if you're not used to styles, and especially not used to seeing them in text editor, this might make you a little crazy looking at this. But once you break this down, and that's true of anything, once you break anything down, you understand it, and the mystery goes away. It's not that big of a deal. And then you learn the next thing and the next thing. So let me show you what I've got here. I've got some styles that begin with a dot, and these are what are called generic styles, as opposed to something like this where you don't have a dot before it. That's just a regular selector, a regular style. These that have dots in front of them, that means it's generic. And what that means is I can apply this to any content. If I were to write P dot micro content only, that means I could only apply that. It only works with P tags. But I want to be able to apply these things to anything, to paragraphs, to lists, to images, to divs, to anything. So what this style means, micro content only, if I apply that style to something, I want it only to show up in the micro content and not show up in the topic only. But I also have this topic only one right here. And so I've got both cases. Now the secret to this whole thing, which this was the thing I had to learn from the developer, is this piece right here. This dot micro content container space dot micro response. And you put that before this one. And what this means, this is, let me translate this for you. You say, look, if I've got a piece of content and I've applied this topic only thing to it, and I'm looking at micro content, the micro content search results, do this thing down here. And display none means don't show it. Don't show it. And so if I apply micro content only in a regular topic, what I'm telling it is don't show that in the topic. But if I apply topic only in there and it's being viewed in the micro content search results, don't show it. So now this next one is the reverse of that. Display block means show it. So what I'm saying is, hey, if I've got something with, I don't have to do topic only down here because it's just that by default, it's going to show up in the full topic. But if I have micro content only applied to this thing, and it makes an appearance in the micro content search results, then show it. It's the reverse of what I did up here. And then I also have a couple of extras down here with lists, just because what I wanted to do was I wanted to close the gap between list items. So I just added this because I wanted to give you an idea of what's possible. It's not just display and not display. It's you can change the look and feel of things. Okay, hopefully you're still with me on after seeing the styles. All right, so let's go. What's the next thing? Ad tech or microcontent. I have to look at my notes sometimes. So I'm going to go back to my topic. Now we still have our micro content in place here. Now I'm going to add an extra paragraph in here, and I'm just going to say content to be displayed in micro content only. So the point is this is the opposite of what we did before. I want this paragraph to show up in the micro content search results. I don't want it to show up in the full topic. So now I want to apply my styles. Now I'm applying these at the block level. So a lot of people think they have to select the thing. They don't. You just click in the block and you can select your style. And this one, I'm going to go up here. These are in order, in alphabetical order, and the dot stuff, the generic styles, appear at the top because dot, comes before the alphabet in this case. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select dot micro content only. And you can see it gives you this little marker thing with the I and the X, which means, hey, in the topic, this stuff is going to be hidden. So now I go down to the note, I click in there, and this one, I'm going to say, scroll up, and I'm going to say topic only. And I don't see the little eyeball and the X because this is going to be shown in the topic. I'm going to select my P tag, which has the IMG, the image tag inside of it. And again, I'm going to select topic only. Okay, and I'm going to leave the rest alone. So let's build the output once again. And when it's all finished, I'll open it, and again, we'll test it. All right, so here is the updated version of the help system. And once again, we're going to search for teach dog stay. I probably could just type the word stay and it would find it. And there it is. It's the same thing as before, the same results, except I do see this extra paragraph up here. But watch what happens in the full topic. I've got more space between the steps, and I don't see that extra paragraph up here at the top, but I do see my note, I do see my image. So I've single sourced using styles. Again, the styles can get pretty complex depending on what you want to do. And so I would just reiterate, go into the help system and look at all that stuff that I documented about single sourcing using styles and play with it, just play with it. Okay, so the final method I want to show you has to do with variables. So what we looked at so far has to do with hiding and showing just content, all kinds of content. But we have also added the ability to manipulate or change the definition of variables in microcontent, depending on whether it's seen in the topic or in the microcontent search results. So let's go back into our project and I'll show you that. So here we are once again in our topic, and I'm going to leave this stuff, the stuff that I just did, the way it is. I want to come down here to the very bottom to this paragraph. You can see in this paragraph, I've inserted a variable. It says this training exercise is brought to you by Dog Training Incorporated. That's the name. I'm just pretending that's the name of the company. And so here is, I can open up the variable set. I right-clicked and say, open up the variable set. And here it is. There's my company name, Dog Training Incorporated. Well, one of the things that you can do with variables is you can create alternate definitions. And so I could just go up here and say, add variable definition. And let's just say that this is puppies are us, just to have something to show. So I've got Dog Training Inc., Puppies R Us is the alternate. Back to my topic. So dog training, that's going to be, this is the default one. And if you paid attention in the other examples, when I showed the output, if you were to look down at the bottom, you would see that this variable remained the same. It was said Dog Training Incorporated, whether it was in the topic, whether it was in the microcontent search results. But let's say that I want this to say Dog Training Incorporated in the topic, in the full topic, in the output, but in the microcontent, let's say I want to use the other definition for some reason. I myself haven't used this feature yet. I haven't found a use for it for myself, but other people, it could be really, really handy. So let's go back into our microcontent file. And I'm going to go right-click on this, go back to the properties. And instead of microcontent conditions this time, I'm going to select microcontent variables. And in here, I go and I see, okay, there's a company name, Dog Training Inc. I just click that and I select the alternate, Puppies R Us. Click OK, do a save all. And now let's just build, rinse and repeat, right? So let's see how this looks after it finishes building. All right, one final time in this help system, we're going to do the search. Let's try stay. Let's see if that comes up. Hey, it worked. Cool. So this is the microcontent. I go down here and you see the final paragraph. This training exercise is brought to you by Puppies R Us. But if I go to the full topic and I scroll down, Dog Training Inc. So there you go. It's 3 ways to single source your microcontent. The content and the variables, use conditions, use styles, do whatever makes you comfortable, gets the job done. One final thing is that if you still don't have this clear in your head, I would recommend going into the help system over on the left side, open up the tutorials book and check out the microcontent tutorial, because it walks you through everything from the very beginning all the way down into single sourcing styles. So you'll be able to do this yourself, or else you can just try to replicate what I did in this video. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.